He straight? Yep. We ready to roll into it? Well, let's go then. All right, man, listen, right off the top, and I thought about this morning. Yo, this may be a little strange to you, but I need to know, man. We both members of the Baldy Bunch at this point, man. Yeah. Still relatively young guys. I don't care what they say. Man, when did you go bald, bro? Or when did you cut it all off and say, I'm gonna stop messing with this?
Man, we was over there looking at the gym that I actually played in.
Right on.
And there's a trophy case in there. And whenever I was coaching, I don't remember what year it was. I want to say 2018. It was looking thin. So I was probably 28, 27. Yeah. That was probably around the time where I noticed, you know, early, like, I gotta keep an eye on this, you know, so.
You had that foresight?
Had definitely, and it was a sad day.
I feel you, bro.
But at the same time, I ain't gonna do the LeBron James and
all due respect.
The plugs and all that, but no, it was about 27, 28.
Bro, I told myself the same thing. I'm like, look, whenever I see them corners start to back up, you know, I start getting the egg in the nest, I'm like, look, man, I'm not going to be that guy holding on too long. And there's something about that year 2018. It was literally New Year's Eve going into 2018. I was like, it's time to come on home, man.
And so I knew you was going to bring this up.
Oh, you did? Okay. I called myself being slick.
But do you shave it with a razor or... Because I still go clipper, no guard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm scared of the razor.
Listen, I feel that. But to answer your question, I'm razor, man. Not the straight razor, though. Not like Ving Rhames on Baby Boy. We can't do that. You know what I mean? The disposable joint. Because that's when they get it close, get that shine. See, the clippers, it be leaving me with the Tony Parker joint. You know what I mean? With the shadow. I'm like, nah, we can't roll. We can't roll. But it works for me. One of the best moves I done made. And it saved me some bread. You know what I mean?
For sure.
All right, so now we can roll into the beginning of it, man.
Right.
I've known you for a couple of years now. We've had a lot of conversations off the record, obviously, and you've produced plenty of these podcasts that we're doing now. Now you're on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. But, man, bring me from the beginning. As a young boy, how was childhood for Josh Stevens, man?
And, you know, this was another one that I was preparing for.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pull one from Mick Wilson. From humble beginnings.
Okay.
From humble beginnings.
I feel that.
Product of a single parent household, born in a mouse hole, like Jay-Z said.
Yeah.
And so I was born in Tulsa, raised Creek County, Tulsa area, moved to Oklahoma City a little bit, but started like my primary elementary years. I went to Walt Whitman. I went to Trinity Christian School.
I didn't know none of this.
I went to, and then somehow, some way, I ended up in Kellyville School District and attending 5th grade at Kellyville Elementary, and then from there on.
5th grade on, huh?
5th grade on, stayed in.
So you did quite a bit of moving around, it sounds like, in your early years.
It was a little bit of moving around, but as far as like, even though I was going to school at Walt Whitman, I still lived on the east side of Tulsa. So like, before we actually made the move to Sapulpa, Kellyville area, we were in that east side area of Tulsa.
Right
but my mom was just like, nah, we going Baby Hornets.
Yeah.
The, you know, that was the plan, and then, you know, there's always another plan. So
things be happening, man. So is it just you and mom at this point?
I have an older brother, an older sister, and a younger brother. That was in my household that I grew up in.
Right on.
My dad, he had children too, so
sure.
I don't want to leave them out.
Yeah.
So I have another younger brother and 2 younger sisters.
Yeah, you got a little bit of both worlds. Like, look, I'm the little bro over here, but I'm the big bro over here.
Yeah.
So y'all growing up like that in the same household, 4 of you. Were y'all close enough in age to where y'all had a pretty tight bond coming up?
Yeah, we had a tight bond just because that was it. That was us. My sister, she was older, but they, you know, to this day they say I'm more responsible. So like
they say that.
Yeah. So
okay,
I took on that responsibility early. And then my brother, he was, whatever I said, he was on. You know, if I told him to go play football, he was going to play football. If I was like, nah, we ain't playing football, he'd be like, all right, we ain't playing football. You know, so if I said go to Northwestern, he's going to Northwestern. Like, so he just good little brother.
Good little brother. I love that. I love that. And were you always good at making friends, man? You know what I mean? Because you got one of the personalities. I see you in conversation with a lot of different people, and to me, that's a trait that you've had for a while. Am I wrong about that?
I would say so, and I would
Okay.
say it was a little bit about, you know, going to Walt Whitman and then coming over here. And then just, I've always been self-aware,
Yeah.
you know, so I always felt like I was in the cool group, even if I wasn't.
Yeah.
Whatever
Couldn't
group
tell
I'm
you
in
that.
is cool, you know what I'm saying? So that's just pretty much how it was. And then my mom always like taught me to be where you are. So like, you know, I never wanted to, whenever I was in college and stuff, people would be like, we in the middle of nowhere. Woo, woo. I'm like, we had a blast.
Yeah.
You asked me, you know, yeah, it was good. It was great. So just being where you are and not being afraid to, you know, go against the grain or, you know, just following however you feel. And then being biracial, triracial, however you want to call it.
I ain't never heard nobody say triracial before. That's hard.
Whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I'm glad I get to do this too because it's been something that's doesn't get talked about a lot. Having a black father with some Native American, and then having a white mother with some Native American. Where do you know?
Where you fit?
Where do you go?
Yeah.
Where do you go, and what box do you check? And I always made sure I checked them all. So that was a part of it too.
And you know, kids can be cruel too, man.
For sure,
You know what I mean?
for
They
sure.
come in there. Did you ever run into any of that?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
Not.
Too cool for that.
It was. There was always question. Like even, you know, up until I lost my hair, you know, people would think like I was Hawaiian or Mexican or what. They was hitting me
Okay.
with all different, you
Yeah.
know, anything but the black, native, and white. Anything but that. That was like impossible.
They were all wrong.
So,
But you know, I mean, that sort of makes you well versed in a way, because you coming from, you got different cultures in you, different heritages in you, and you've been in the inner city, and you've been on the outskirts. You've been all over the place, man. And to your college point, you know, I went to Murray State down in Tishomingo, Oklahoma, which I
Tishomingo.
never heard about it till it was time to go. Then I went to USAO in Chickasha. Those aren't metropolitan areas,
Right.
But we made a lot to do out of nothing to do.
Right.
So I feel you.
and had a good time.
a good time.
And we'll go back probably right now.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? For a couple of days, maybe even a weekend, and some of the stuff we're gonna keep where it was. But it was fun as hell, though. It was fun as hell. But I was in those areas playing ball, just like I know when you went to college, that's what you did. When did sports begin for you? And was it always just hoops?
No. So, sports, I don't remember my life without it. Sports are so important to me, just for the outlet it provides, the entertainment.
Yeah.
And my mom did a real good job of allowing me to believe I could be Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Or Marcus Vick, or Donovan McNabb, or any of those guys.
She didn't cut your imagination off at all.
She let me, you know, she never said, "Oh, you go to Kellyville, this ain't gonna work out." She believed in it, like so that was always big too, because you know a lot of these kids, you know, I've been coaching for 12 years. A lot of these kids don't have parents coming to the games.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
that's real.
sports are important. They started for me early. Football, basketball, baseball. I grew up in that era where whatever season it was is what we got going on, and you know, yeah. So I to this day I still think I can do it all. Volleyball, dodgeball.
Yeah.
You know, if my hardest sports are like golf. You know.
Oh, so you've given that a try before?
I gave it a shot.
Okay,
I wasn't scared of it.
Yeah.
but I ran from it though. I didn't attack it. It was certain things though, about the game of golf that I was good at, but to put it all together and actually play, I never had that.
Okay, so I would imagine that your favorite among all of the sports you played was basketball. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Was that the one you were best at though?
Like the guy that walked us in here, he'd probably say I was a better football player. My mom would probably say I was a better football player. But they would both say that I can put the ball in the hole in basketball. So that was, I don't got to get tackled. I enjoy going to practice every day.
Right on. Climate control.
Love being in the gym. Like to this
true.
day, 24/7, 365, I would gladly go into a basketball gym.
For sure, for sure. Can you remember the moment where you where you could tell, not just other people telling you, where you could see with your own two eyes and you could feel, I'm pretty good at this?
I would say kind of early. My little brother, Sammy Mack, his dad, Sammy Mack Jr., legendary coach.
For sure.
He took me under his wing as long, he never, pushed me aside and said, like, nah, you ain't my real son.
Right.
Brought me on. So me and Sammy, we kind of had our training sessions and all that stuff together. We went to, he started an AAU team for them. They were younger than me, so, I was supposed to already be better, and so I was trying to be, and I was, and I'll stand on that for all those guys. And it was some guys too,
right.
Tony Hall, Derek Jefferson, Andrew Wilson, Cody Colbert,
sure.
Those guys. Like,
You got them by what, about 2 years maybe?
2 years. My brother was a sophomore whenever I was a senior, so we got to play. We got to play high school. Well, he was on the team as a freshman, but we actually got to play for 1 year as a sophomore, senior.
Man, that's hard. That's hard right there. So, man, what was that like being on the court with bro? Was that fun for you, or was it like, man, he kind of in my way a little bit?
Yeah, it was fun because he, whenever it came to basketball, like for me anyway, in my journey, everything lined up. I didn't have a brother that was trying to overstep me. You know what I mean? He knew whenever we come and play, like, now as 30, 34, 32, it might be an actual even matchup, but as kids, 16, 14, 12,
2 years is a big difference.
2 years was major, and I wasn't gonna,
It just wasn't gonna happen.
And then as that sophomore, senior year, it was a good experience. It was fun. I just wish we would have made it to the state tournament, made that state tournament run.
Well, since we're there, man, we may as well talk about it, man. The high school hoops journey. Now, everybody coming in high school wants to put on their varsity uniform as a freshman, and they want to get on the court. And those that are really good and really fortunate, they get to start. Me, I didn't get to get in the mix until I was a sophomore. How did your high school journey go?
Man, like I said, it lined up real good for me. The group of seniors that was here at Kellyville, whenever I was in the 8th grade, they were solid. They were good, and it was like 5 or 6 of them, and they graduated. So I knew coming in to that summer, like, I got an opportunity, but it was unheard of, like you said, for a freshman to even be even suiting up. We had a whole different practice hour than the varsity at the time. And I came in, but I'm telling myself, like, I belong, at small schools, they bunch your grades up, 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, and so you become close with the guys ahead of you and the guys underneath you. And so I knew for sure, like,
You one of them.
I was over those guys, and I wasn't having to worry about those other guys. It was just that next little group that I wasn't sure about. But then once I got there and we were locked up, I ended up starting varsity as a freshman. Granted, we might have won 5 or 6 games. You know what I mean? But it was an opportunity for me to start. I think I averaged 8 to 10 points, somewhere around that.
That's solid as a freshman, though.
And it was good. And then my sophomore year is when I really started to come into my own, and then I felt like I was a captain of the team.
Did you get appointed that, or that's just how you?
I made myself the captain.
All
I don't remember. I mean, they might have. I had a really good coach in Danny Wood, he's still the principal here now. When I was in 7th grade, he was the high school basketball coach, and he was the 7th grade basketball coach, and he gave me the keys to the Cadillac then.
Straight up.
And so I always, knew with, his, trust in me and stuff like that. I knew I had a pretty good opportunity to get in there, as long as I, was doing everything right, which as far as like on the outside of school, like going into school and stuff, like I wasn't even letting that be an option because moms wasn't playing that.
Now, even though you were talented, we still humans. So with you being put in the mix early, right away, as a young bull, how well received was that from the elders in the program at the time, the upper class? Was it smooth, or were there some bumps along the way?
Amongst my teammates, it was okay.
Okay, good.
It was okay. I never really felt any, issues or tension or whatever you would call it. I never felt that with them. But their parents, for sure. Their parents, just people in the stands, for sure.
Yeah.
And
Easy target.
So, but other than that, like the kids, like I had a guy, Blake Davidson, I'll shout him out. I don't know if he'll watch it or not, but I'll shout him out because he took me under his wing. He was a senior. Football was his main sport. He was good at basketball, but he kind of seen like that. I really took that serious, and he, put me under his wing and, made sure, like, because I can't drive.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I'm going to his house before the game.
I mean, you can, but you can't.
Yeah. So, but it was, and that part was good. And then like I said, that was my freshman year, and then he was a senior. Once he left, I was like, all right, now I'm here. Junior year, same thing. And then my senior year, we had a good enough team to make a run, and we fell short.
Fell a little short.
But it was, people always say, I want to start as a freshman. Man, I enjoyed it. I won't, ask for nobody else's story. I'll take my story how it was, along with those 5 wins, 6 wins, whatever it was. And then
Sounded like you had a lot of room to grow.
it was but I also, as a coach, understand sometimes it's just not your turn. Sometimes it's, like I said, if those guys in the middle of me were right there, I might not have went in there thinking, I'm supposed to play this and that.
Right.
But, it was good though.
As you grew, can you think of a situation where a youngster came up that sort of had a similar route as you did? Like, okay, this kid is on my radar, and when he gets to high school, he's gonna be playing. Did you see one of those coming up once you got to be an upperclassman, somebody that maybe you could take under your wing the way it was done for you? From a leadership standpoint?
Kinda,
Yeah.
not really.
Okay.
Kinda, because by the time I was a senior, we became that. We became that. There was solid here, solid juniors, solid sophomores, and then that freshman group. You better come with it.
Boy.
We had a guy in that freshman group, Jonathan Buckley. He went on to play at Rogers State. He didn't get to play with us.
Yeah.
And I remember begging my coach, like, hey, let him come on
bring him
and bring him up. And he was like, I can't. He was like,
who you gonna bump?
Yeah, who you moving? And at the time, I'm like, we moving here, we moving here. But now as a coach, I understand, like, even if Aaron Daniels coming, he might not be the junior or the sophomore, but he's here every day. He knows what's going on. I don't gotta yell at the guy. You know what I mean? All that stuff plays a major role that a lot of people don't take into consideration.
Yeah. Can't just show up with talent and that just is it.
A lot of people, and that's the generation that we're living in. That's how these kids they're coming. I thought when I first came back and started coaching, I thought it was a Kellyville thing because this is where I came back and started coaching. But it's a kids thing. We grew up in a different time. Like, we took youth sports serious. We were coached by grown men that were thinking about what they're gonna do at practice for Salvation Army team. And these kids now don't have that. So
not as much. It's a lot less practice.
Way less practice.
We literally gonna pick up and we're gonna go hoop. And I got my thoughts on that. That's a rabbit hole we can fall down.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so when you coming out of Kellyville, it's time to go to college. Man, I only have one point of reference in terms of that process, and that was my own. Man, I'm looking around at a lot of my counterparts, my peers. They getting hooked and booked, signed, sealed, and delivered, and I'm the freest agent. It felt like, and it's prom, and I'm like, I got nothing, Jack. But then eventually, in the 11th hour, the one and only opportunity I had, I took it. How'd yours go, man?
My situation is, I'm gonna try to tell it and be very detailed as possible because lot of these kids or anybody that's watching, parent or kid, can take this and learn from it. Rule number one: don't depend on somebody else, going out and getting you situated because that's just not gonna happen. And then that is not required by the coach that you are under, So for me, I came in, started as freshman, had great all-conference years, all-conference MVP, 1,000 points. I did it, and then, so now I'm thinking I'm gonna get some offers.
That's how it's supposed to happen, right?
And then so I say that, and then I didn't mention my AAU team, and so my AAU team I played for Tracy Moore.
I know who that is.
NBA guy. I hung on to every word that he said. His son was on the team, Brandon Webb. And I played with a bunch of guys that went on to play college football. Alvin Bailey won a Super Bowl.
I know every one of these names.
With Big Bowie. Bowie was on the team. It was off, Keenan Taylor. Big
Keenan Taylor and Bowie.
See, Jaquez Washington, the coach at, he's a football coach at Owasso, played at Iowa State. You know what I mean? We had a good basketball team. And Tony Gardner was on the team. Can't leave him out. Tyler Rice. I don't want to leave nobody out. Randy Stanley.
Yeah, since you done got started,
everybody's gonna be like, man, you forgot to say me. Big Gavin Howard. All right, but anyway, so we started playing 8th grade and then our 7th grade and then 8th grade off. We had our solid team by our sophomore year. We was running and gunning.
Y'all able to retain everybody from year to year too?
Pretty much. Kind of maybe lose a piece here, add a piece, lose a piece, add a piece.
Right.
But we pretty much had the same core of guys, and we went on. We would compete on the national level. We played against Derek Favors in the Atlanta Celtics, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
We were at tournaments John Wall was at, and so it was wild. But for some reason, I guess I don't know where I missed it at, because we were competing on this stage, but then the letters ain't coming in. Nobody's noticing me.
Right.
What the heck? And then I'm trying to go back to Kellyville and average 25.
Right.
If I can.
If you can't, go run it up.
And that didn't work. So into my senior year, we lose early, and then that was always my plan: is get to the state tournament. If I can get to the state tournament and I can average,
eyes gonna be on me.
You know what I mean? If I can have just one night where I can go Rodney Clark on them,
Straight up.
Then that would get me to the Arkansas, or I was going man,
Yeah.
I was going wherever.
Yeah.
You know what
but
I mean?
but you had a plan though.
But that was my idea. Didn't work. So immediately, game was over. Crying, boo-hooing,
Going through the
whatever.
emotions
Get
like
on the
everybody.
bus, go home, and all my guys, like they kind of, they didn't really know. Like they're like, why is he crying? You know what I mean?
Why
Like
is it hurting like
it didn't mean that much to them.
Yeah.
And so going back home, I go to school the next day. I'm in the library. I'm searching up Murray State.
Yeah.
I'm searching up Rogers State. Every school in Oklahoma and surrounding states.
No matter the
I'm
level.
looking at the roster. Can I get on here? I'm going to USAO's tryout, like calling the coach, what day is this tryout on? Can I get in? And
All this yourself.
myself.
Good deal.
And I'll take that back. I had the guidance. I had the initial going in there myself, but then it was to like, oh, you need to make a move. You need to make action. You need to actually go try out, not just look up and see who. You need to get on the
You gotta
phone
get
with
on
that
the road.
coach. And that was my buddy from high school, his stepdad, Roy Fulks. He was real. He wasn't messing around. And he did my best friend at the time, Jesse Buzzard. He was on his bumper too. He was a valedictorian. He had $100,000 in scholarship money. You know what I mean, to go wherever.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to Northwestern and playing golf. And so I went down to Northwestern. The campus was shut down. Coaches walked me around. He's like, I'll give you an opportunity, to walk on. That's all I needed to hear,
So that didn't shut you down immediately.
So that's kind of like my offer.
Yeah.
I would have went on Twitter and been like, got me
Blessed
in,
to receive. No.
blessed to receive. I had a couple of opportunities to go. At the time, it was Hilldale Free Will Baptist College. It's Randall
City.
University now. I could have went there. They do things different, and I was like, oh no, hold up, I don't want to be, stuck to something, and so
you want to have a college experience.
yeah, I wanted the experience,
The one you
for
want.
sure. And so I go. My buddy's going down there to Alva to visit on a golf visit, and then I'm going around, and he was like, "I'll give you opportunity to walk on, whatever." And I had went to the USAO tryouts, and it was kind of like the same thing, like if you come to school here, because a lot of those guys are going to the tryout, and you're like, man, are you really here to try out because you're going to school, or are you just up here because you're trying to get a hoop session
Yeah.
because you look 45, I don't know. But
Still got it.
but the coach at the end, he's like, again, he's like, I'll give you, if you come here, you can walk on. Bet. That's my offer, so I got another offer. And so, but anyway, and there was nothing wrong with USAO except for whenever I went on the tour and I wanted to do sports broadcasting.
Oh, as your major.
And as my major.
Got it.
And they take us up in there, and it's a, it wasn't that, it wasn't what I was expecting.
Right.
And then whenever I went to Northwestern, it was. They had a whole TV station, a radio station, a newspaper print room. Like it was the whole. I was like, yeah, I'm going here. This is home.
So you actually were thinking about more than hoops.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that for
That's
sure.
solid, man.
It was unintentional.
Yeah.
It was just like if USAO would have had the same thing Northwestern had, I would have been like, yeah, because
That's the visit you took
it was
first?
the look. Yeah, it was the look I was going for versus, and that might not have been the
What it was.
room
Yeah.
for USAO, but that's just where they showed me. This doesn't look right to me. So
There you go.
And then boom. so
Presentation is everything.
presentation is everything, because they had me hooked. And,
Yeah.
but it ended up being good for me too,
Right.
because they were even as a small college was competing on the broadcast side of things with OU and Kansas and OSU, and so I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good.
That's impressive to me because I'm like a year, maybe a year and a half older than you. So we literally in the same generation. But I look back almost with a little bit of shame at how much I did not know about the process at all. So with you seemingly running point on your own situation, going on these visits, did your mother go with you?
No,
Any other adult?
She's at work. Well, it was Roy Fox.
Okay, cool.
He would go with us, or sometimes it would just be me and my buddy Jesse. We would go.
There you go.
We would go dolo.
Yeah, but the stuff that you were thinking about at that time, I just wasn't. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, who gonna let me go? Who gonna let me play?
Well,
and then I can figure all the rest out.
That was like, I was like the opposite. I was just looking for a home. And then I knew I was gonna be okay, and I knew I was gonna be liked by the team, and I knew like I would be all right. I knew all that just off the natural. That was who I am.
Right on.
And so I don't know why I was thinking about that, but that's what I was thinking about.
Word. Why was the campus shut down at Northwestern during the time you went?
It wasn't shut down. It just was the basketball players weren't there.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
So,
you had me thinking this was COVID or something.
No,
before COVID.
it was just like it was the middle of summer. Like it was my last visit. Like it was like I don't even remember where I was committed to go to. Where because you don't really commit.
Nah.
Like you sign up for your classes and stuff like that. I don't remember where before. It might have been USAO. That would have been crazy. Because, like I said, I'm first person, like, because I know for sure I filled out the application to get in. And they accepted me, so that was probably
there you go.
That was probably where I was going.
And the way your mind was working, that's another offer. It's accepted.
I'm taking it.
Okay.
And then I had the O lab, and I had good grades, and so I knew whoever just gives me an opportunity.
You're a good student athlete.
Like I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be here.
I love that, bro. So ultimately, it ended up, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're at Northwestern for all four?
So I go to Northwestern for all four.
Good.
The basketball doesn't pan out in my favor for me the way I would like to, but for my story, it was perfect because I ended up getting hurt, coming in not physically ready.
You got hurt before you reported?
No. I came in frail.
Okay.
That was the problem. And then trying to play at a speed that you can't, and I try to tell these high school kids now, you can't emulate it, like no matter who you're playing. Like now I go back to the AAU circuit we were on. We were playing good guys, but not grown men, not full speed grown men. Like so, and then I'm here, I'm getting ready to go to college, but I'm just in here working in the gym. I'm not working, and then a guy, Marshall Bell, comes in. He's the same grade as me.
Oh yeah.
Yoked.
Look like a man.
Pumping 225. I'm like, yeah, dang, I mean, how much is that? I don't even know how to add that up.
We just looked at the plates at that time.
I'm asking him. I was like, this your last year? You know, thinking. He's like, man, I'm a freshman. And I was like, shoot.
A true one?
And then, and then there was another guy, Daryl Glover. He's freaking like 5'9", 5'10", going between the legs. And I'm like, these dudes.
That's another level.
Like, it's different, man. Like it's a whole different ball game, and the only way you can prepare for it is by being in it. Like you can't. Those high school kids, even though it was a high school grown man, Derek Favors, he wasn't a grown man in college. Like so my body wasn't physically ready. I ended up just, one of my roommate fell on my ankle my sophomore year and did me out.
Yeesh.
And so going forward though, my books, all that stuff, I wasn't leaving Northwestern.
No matter what.
Because they didn't hit me with a bill.
They did not.
They did not hit me with no bill.
The plot thickens.
You know, so I'm actually getting back my Pell Grant. So Brandon Harris, you might know him. He's down there with me at the time. They didn't hit me with no bill. They actually sent me some money. You know,
Hey,
and then
let's be smart.
At the time, I started working for the school sports reporting, sports writing, sports on the radio. You know.
Oh yeah, you in it.
So but that was a part of the class.
True.
And so and I guess at the time I'm thinking I'd rather do this for class than be in somebody's lab doing, you know, a science project.
Yeah,
like
pen
that's
to
not
paper.
me.
I feel that.
So yeah, that's how that and then once I opened up, and then you realize like, oh shoot, like there's a life that you can have. And then so I started looking at other students like, what do y'all be doing like in this regular time?
You talking about students that aren't athletes?
That aren't athletes.
Gotcha.
You know, like what you got a lot of time. And I never understood because, you know, on TV and in movies and stuff, the way they portray it is just like college is just this super hard thing. Well, once I'm not playing no more, I got time to take a nap.
Yeah, hey.
I'm watching all these new Netflix series, you know. And I want to say at the time, this was like right when Netflix first came out. So I was in there tuned in hard. Because we were right around, like, whenever I was in high school, Netflix used to mail the DVDs to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this I'm all know nothing about. I must have been late to the party.
You don't remember when Netflix used to be mailed DVDs? You don't remember?
And he younger than the both of us. That's crazy.
What?
I'm telling you, this is the most interesting man in the world, right?
That's crazy. But anyway.
I remember Redbox. That's
well, see, it was, you used to order it like, they would mail you a DVD.
Straight up.
And then you obviously mail it back.
Yeah, you got to do that.
And it was like they had all of them, like the Jackson 5, American Dream, like they had every movie.
Anything you can think of.
Any movie.
Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
But anyway, I don't remember where we was going with that.
No, I do though. So what I want to ask, and you low key sound like you might have already answered it, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So are you telling me that when your future in basketball started to look bleak after that injury, something that you had loved and adored for so long, it wasn't that difficult of a transition to, okay, I see the light, I see what's happening here, let me start moving on to the next chapter outside of basketball. That wasn't hard for you?
It was hard because I don't even remember what the actual diagnosis of was my ankle, but like I couldn't play full speed, like for years. I couldn't play full speed. Yeah. So even I could play in the intramural leagues because you're not going
hard.
Full game like speed. So
running 3-point line to 3-point line.
So that part that hurt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wanted to eventually get my turn to be a guy that can shoot the ball more than 5 or 6 times in college, and I never got that. So you know.
It wasn't the quality of experience.
But it was easier because then I started to be a student, and then I started working at the Alva Rec Center, which is the community center of the city of Alva. And I started working there. I never came home. I came home my freshman summer, and then that was it. I stayed in Alva the rest. I was like, this is it. Like I felt like I was in Alva. But then what's crazier than that is on the day that I graduated, I just left and went back to Tulsa like it was.
I've done my
toss
time.
it in the back, and that was a sad day too because I wasn't ready to leave because I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Okay. So dang, that's I guess you can call that a gamble, but a gamble with sort of a soft landing because you're coming back home.
Yeah.
But coming back home early in your adult years. Now you're out of undergrad and all of that. Man, what was your first job as a tax-paying citizen, man?
So
I know you got your master's, but you didn't go get it right away, did you?
No, I didn't go. I tried I tried
Okay.
under the tutelage of my senior year. I mentioned Danny Wood, that's the principal now. My senior year head coach was Joe Ballard, and he
okay.
is the principal at Poto High School or something. He's something in administration over there because he hired me on over here or got me hired or put me in a position to get hired.
Yeah.
And then he dipped out a year or two after that to, put himself in a better position, I guess.
Right on.
But he knew, so I started working at the Alva Rec Center whenever I was in school, started coaching basketball down there.
I didn't know this chapter.
So this is where the coaching comes in, and because I never went to school for education, so I'm working at the rec center, and a lady comes in there, Marissa Whiteley, her son Dylan Whiteley. He might have already graduated college by now, but he was in the 5th or 6th grade at the time, and she was like, "The coach ain't here. That's supposed to be here. I don't know nothing about basketball, how to coach it. Like, I don't know what to do." And so I just went in there. Next thing I know, I'm coaching this team for the rest of the season. And then that following year, they went from 5th grade to 6th grade, so I had them one more year, and and I seen the progression, and then after I graduated, I didn't know what I was gonna do with my communications degree because I didn't want to apply to the Tulsa World or Channel 8 or whatever. And it's not even that I don't have a reason for not wanting to apply there.
Right.
It's just that I just didn't feel like that I had a shot, really. I felt like they were gonna look at my, name and, just move on.
Right.
Which but I just wasn't gonna give them an opportunity to toss my stuff out. And so I kind of was reffing. I reffed the summer league at McLean that year.
I remember that particular year.
Cutting grass. Both of the high school coaches that I played for had lawn mowing services, so I would cut grass with them. And that's where I was just doing that to survive and kind of just wait to figure something out, because my whole goal was I wanted to have a job where I wore a suit every day or slacks and a polo, and some, I wanted to do that. And then
It was about that look, huh?
It was about the look. And then I just completely did a 180. Like
You did. You did indeed.
So Coach Ballard calls me and he's like, do you want a job? So this is in May. I graduated in May, come home June 1st.
And what year is this? This 2013.
This is 2013.
All right.
Going into 2014. So he offers me a job coaching 6th grade and 7th grade at Kellyville.
Boys.
Okay. And being a paraprofessional. And I got my first check. I was cool. And at Kellyville, I'm coaching cross country, basketball, junior high and high school, and junior high baseball in the springtime.
Well, you busy.
So not only am I busy, but I'm getting outfits of gear, Gotta get free gear.
Oh, man.
And then the stipends.
Yeah.
And
you're getting your experience at the same time. You're cutting your teeth.
I'm trying to get my experience, and I was that guy that came in, thought I was ready early. Like I thought I was ready to go.
Same.
Year one. Like I can do it.
I can go run my own.
So it was like trying to prove that, and also being a servant to where you are. Like, I'll do what y'all need me to do this. Yeah, I'll do that. Y'all need me to drive a bus, because here at Kellyville you do it all. I drove bus routes. I took the cheerleaders to the state. Cheer competition.
Oh yeah.
I took they'll go on Fridays. They'll have a football game in Okemah they got a fan bus going. Who's driving the fan bus? Coach Stevens might be driving it. You know.
And this is you. This is young Josh too.
This
like
is
you
young.
early
/
young. Mid-20s, huh?
I was young.
Getting your chops.
Young, trying to get to it.
Man, okay, so now you threw a lot in there right there, and I can identify with a whole lot of it, especially the part about coming in as a coach, brand spanking new, but you feel like you're ready early. Mm-hmm. Can you remember a moment early in your coaching career that maybe, I ain't gonna say held you back, but woke you up a little bit to like, oh, maybe there's another level to this thing right here. Maybe it's something I don't have quite figured out yet.
I wouldn't necessarily say that there was something. Mm-hmm. It was just understanding that you're not the only person thinking you're ready. You're not the only person that's coming in looking for an opportunity. You know, I coach with a guy, Larry Heath, right now.
Yeah,
I
shout out
coach
to
with
Coach
him.
Heath.
Shout out Coach Heath. I coach with him here. Mm-hmm. It was his first head coaching job. He had been coaching for 28 years. So,
wow.
So at the time, I was upset that they didn't give it to me, but at the same time, like, how can I not be happy for him to get an opportunity, you know?
Mm. And that's just your own foresight. Nobody had to say that to you?
I had to learn it.
I
mean, it was, like you said, it was my own, but at the time, it wasn't, it definitely wasn't easy.
I feel that. Swallowing the pride, as you say. And I try to think of it. Well, somebody told me once, like, look, man, at some point when you get your big break and you go lead, you got to think about the type of assistant coaches you want to have on your staff. And he was basically telling me, don't become one of them. That they're just like, yeah, this guy, you know what I mean?
Well,
what you got for me?
Well, just to say that, you know, and especially like, you know, you being a guy that's been a head coach and assuming a crew of guys, mm-hmm. you got to make sure they're the right guys, because you know yourself you're mm-hmm. you're gonna get it done. But like right now, I wouldn't even know, you know, who am I gonna team up? So like just little stuff like that mm-hmm. is a problem that I would run into, not necessarily being ready for. Mm-hmm. Hiring, you can't come in year one and already have a good assistant coach. You could mm-hmm. if it's played right, you know what I mean.
And then folks gotta want to come into this thing,
and they gotta want to do it. You gotta have a good group of kids that are gonna accept you, mm-hmm. and
helps if they can play a little bit too.
Oh, at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to, mm-hmm. you know. And I felt Kellyville would have been a good place for me to start because there wasn't an expectation of winning a championship.
Right.
It was the expectation, which they got the expectation, was to get to the state tournament. Because for however many years, up until last year, they had never been to the state tournament in boys. They just did it in girls like a couple years before that too. So it wasn't like, it was like, oh, come on, let me get it. Yeah. But I'm not thinking of the, you know, geographically where we are, mm-hmm. you know, how many opportunities are available to people, you know. True. And then I look around, there's not a whole lot of African American or Native American or mixed people or whatever mm-hmm. coaching at this level in Oklahoma. Right. You know what I mean? I'm looking around the room at a tournament seating meeting. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of older, mm-hmm. you know, gentlemen that have been where they are for a long time. Yep. So where do I fit in at? Mm-hmm. You know, and you got to have somebody that's willing to say, hey, I'm going to take a chance on this guy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna break this barrier down for him, because, you know, and then once, which, you know, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm not forcing it to happen because I'm happy right now where I'm at. But when my opportunity does come, mm-hmm. I know for sure I'll be ready now versus thinking I was ready then.
It's a trip. Ready is such a different thing, because a lot of times opportunities, at least in my experience, they don't always happen when you're ready for them. It's like either you get one a little bit too soon and don't necessarily know how to manage it, might fumble, or you get one when you think you're long overdue. And so it's hard to even accept all the praise everybody's giving you, because in your mind, you're like, shot, I've been this. You know what I mean? I've been ready.
Yeah.
But if you say that, you know how you sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then, but that's when I bring it back to Mick Wilson, and then we come from humble beginnings. You know,
True that.
because that's what you have to do. And working with Coach Heath now, again, in a different light at Sapulpa, he's coaching 8th grade, I'm coaching 9th grade, but we're in the same. We're doing the same. We're in the gym together. We work we do our drill work together,
Right.
and then we split up. But it's, you know, you can see the growth in both of us, and you know what I mean. And so it's like I gotta look at it like, dang, he's even still growing as, you know, as an older coach, and so you can't be afraid of that growth.
So your second stint as a coach after Kellyville was where? What chapter was that?
I guess you would call it chapter 2.
Yeah.
I spent, so on my way out of Kellyville, I'm starting to grow a little bit more as far as in like what I'm looking for myself, and then I had the guidance of Jim Upshaw, who is the athletic director here. He's helping me like understand that this is not for me. You know, being in Kellyville, like, even though I may think it is, he knew that I had a higher, you know, purpose as far as it came to what I was gonna touch on the basketball world in Oklahoma. And he was just like, the people at Kellyville, do they love basketball? Sure. But do they love it like I love it? No. And me asking them and expecting them to love it like that is what I was doing, and forcing it on them.
You talking about the athletes, student athletes?
Everybody.
Okay, got it.
Everybody in the school,
Right.
everybody, like, and I'm still that way because
You love it, bro.
I love basketball. You
You
know
do.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's not my fault. You know, and it's not that I don't love other sports either. It's just like I literally
Something
love
about
that,
this one, something different about the round ball.
It's a special. It really is, and it's mainly because I seen what it's done for people. I seen what it's done for myself, and it's fun. Like it's fun. Like even whenever I'll go film a little kid's basketball game. Whenever it gets tight, oh, it's fun.
The
Like,
atmosphere,
you know,
it feels about like varsity, doesn't it?
it's varsity because that, and I talk to Rocky about this all the time. Like that is their varsity.
Yeah.
Like that is their Super Bowl, you know. And some of them don't ever make it to a varsity game. You know what I'm saying? So
That's true.
but yeah.
Somewhere in there, you become a dad to a son.
So my second that second stint, this is when COVID happens. I'm at Owasso.
All right.
I'm coaching Cody Lecklider, who just won a state championship. Shout out my boy Cody
He
Lecklider.
was a youngster.
Missouri Southern State
Yes, sir.
is where he's going.
Committee.
I'm coaching him. This is my first like real wake up call to the difference between being at Kellyville and being at a
someplace
school
else,
like Owasso.
Yeah.
We play. I go in first day of practice. I got guys. Anson Harbaugh, he's 6'4". Gage, Nantois, 6'3". Like I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna be good.
Yeah.
We go on the road to Union for the conference preview.
Get smacked.
Eric Madrid, 7 foot. Dalen Fuller, you know, freaking windmilling in 8th grade. Like David Castillo was at Bartlesville. I threw the kitchen sink at him, and he still had 30 on me.
Yeah.
You know, we might have won, or like we won one time at their place. They beat us at our house, but it was a dogfight both times.
Yeah.
But he did me, you know, he gave me everything
Nothing you
I
can do with
wanted.
him.
you know, both times. So, and that was like my real, like, wow, like they really get down to it
Right.
down here in this Frontier Valley Conference. So then COVID hit. They didn't bring me back. It was because it was that time where I was a lay coach. They had already shut sports down that 8th grade year that I had left. They shut the sports down for the rest of the year, and then by the time school came back, they just I wasn't coaching there, so I was like, all right, I guess I'm not coaching. And
Right.
Fast forward, I had my son, and that's whenever I started doing the 1K media stuff.
Yeah, man. Man, what was it literally that simple? Like, man, I see this camera over here. Let me just go play with that. Like, what really sent you in that direction? And not to say it was cold, though, because you did mention a couple of chapters ago in this conversation what you were interested in as far as your major field of study in school.
So it wasn't necessarily that. I mean, in a sense it was, but it wasn't because, so in 2013, I'm leaving Alva, Oklahoma. I learned how to edit and do all that stuff for a newscast.
Okay.
For a newscast to be aired not live. So we would record our newscast at 12, and then the teacher, Jesse Schroeder, would, along with other members of the class that took that shit serious, would put together a newscast. So I was just an on-air talent at first, but a part of my job was to go film a football game, go talk on the sidelines at a football game, and then bring it back and then put it to, you know, it looks live, but it ain't live.
Ain't live.
It ain't live.
Pre-recorded.
Pre-recorded.
I feel that.
You know, and so that's where I was introduced to it. But this was before Apple took over. On my way out of Alva in 2013, they had shipped in all these brand new Mac computers. The newsroom looked amazing. It looked legit, like Oklahoma City. You know, well, I was ready to get out.
For sure.
So I wasn't worried about learning it, nothing. I was strictly
About to get this paperwork, baby.
I'm getting this degree for whatever reason and getting out of here.
Dipping.
And not knowing what I'm gonna do with it or nothing, but I'm just trying to get out of here. And instead of, oh hey, maybe I should learn how to do this on this, but nah.
It wasn't the time for that. I get it.
We getting up out of there. So then, while I'm on my way out of Kellyville, and I'm talking to Jim Upshaw, and I'm talking to Larry, and I'm talking to my mom and stuff, it's I'm going to school at Southern Nazarene, 100% online, using a MacBook.
Getting your master's at this point.
My master's. Right. One of the courses is a video editing course, and so I basically learned everything I already knew again on the Mac. And so I ended up getting 100 in the class or whatever, and then one of the kids that I coached at Kellyville was a senior, and he was like, I need 1K to come film, because that's what I skipped that part. But
I wasn't gonna let you get out of it.
Well, I skipped that part because whenever I was in high school, I hit my 1,000th point. I went back to school, self-proclaimed Josh 1000. That's what I'm putting on my papers, J1K, and so I get there. Nobody calls me that. You know what I'm saying? They never
let you down.
I was just like, whatever.
Y'all weak.
You know, well, then eventually, my friends did, because like my PlayStation name would be Mr. J1K, my tag said Mr. J1K,
right on,
and stuff like that. So like my friends,
Cash App,
send it to 1K, but so my friends, they were 1K, and like little Colton Ayers, he was a little Kellyville prodigy. He was the valedictorian valedictorian, quarterback, played basketball, hitting home runs.
Yeah, he one of them.
You know, he was that guy. He was
Aight.
that guy.
Yep.
And so he's like, man, I need 1K to come film, man. It's my last game. I need you to come film me. And I was like, hey, all right.
Yeah.
So I go out there and I film him, make a little video, put it on YouTube. And it was a wrap after that. Next thing I know, Devin Swift, my homeboy, shout out Devin Swift, coaching at Sepulpa. He coached at Choctaw now. He said, I need you filming. And then I'm filming Tazon Taft.
It just grew.
And then so after that second week, I was like, and then I just went to a different town every Friday after that. And then so after football season was over, I had already planned on filming Anthony Pritchard, you know. So because I had seen him playing men's league, and I was like, dude, you just as good as Trey Alexander, you know, out of the city, going to Heritage Hall. I was like, nobody's even talking about you. And he was like, no, yeah, I'm good, I'm nice. And I was like, okay. I was like, let me, you know, and this is right around the COVID time. So I was like, boom, I go to the game. It's like me and 2 other people in the gym.
Right.
You know.
Still there though.
Jinx versus Webster. And I'm like, you know, this is good stuff. Like so I got some good footage of that. And then I kept on wanting to promote Anthony because I thought he was a good kid and he deserved it, and he could just play basketball. Like the dude, like he's still probably one of my favorites. Like since I've been coaching, that I've seen play basketball. You know, and that's like with Trey Young. You know, he was playing whenever I was coaching. You know, but Trey is my favorite though.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, so I wanted to let people know about that, and then like to this day, nobody ever will credit what happened with him to 1K, and I don't expect that to. But he went from going to Middle Tennessee State to the Tulsa World Player of the Year, and he was always there. He was always in the backyard. He was always doing good stuff, but now.
Folks were late to the party.
It's super late. But hey, as long as they got there, that was the only thing that I cared about, and just seeing what he was able to do after, you know. And like I said, I'm not gonna ever take credit for that because he was a special player, and he had guys around him like Rod and stuff like that. So like I know for sure, but they were late. They were late. I don't know why or what the holdup was, or
you just ran across a gym.
Seen a gym and thought maybe, you know, I should share this with the people in the internet world.
Man, what are some of the common misconceptions of what it is that you do? Maybe some parts of the business that, you know, I ain't gonna even call them rookies, but just folks that don't do what you do on a day-to-day basis, that maybe they think something is easy, but it's not. You know what I mean? I know one of the bigger things we talk about a lot is the turnaround time on people's orders, for lack of a better word.
Well, it's hard, you know, and there ain't no easy way to put it. There's no shortcut to it. You have to take, you know, it's a lot of tedious stuff. You have to take the memory card and you have to load it up. And depending on the quality of your equipment, the quality of your memory card, it might take hours to upload, you know. And so all the time, like even now, my lady, she thinks all the time like I'm not doing nothing. And I'm like, I'm working, like I promise you, like I'm working hard, but it just don't look like it because you just you don't know what to look for.
Everything's a process.
You know? So that, and then, but once I get everything, you know, on the bed, ready to, you know, work, then it becomes easy. But it's getting to that point is a lot harder and it takes a lot longer than what people would think. And it's not something that you can just do, like how you can text and drive, you're not supposed to, but you can do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it. Like you can't shortcut this. Like you
Intentional.
gotta, like you can start your upload, but you don't want to do it while you're driving. You know what I mean? And you want to make sure the folders that you put it in are right, so you can go back to them, because you're always going to look for something that you did before. Like right now, I can go pull up a Trey Alexander versus Bryce Thompson at the ORU. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
right now,
TLC.
just because of how I took my time and making sure everything was where it was supposed to be.
Another thing, so I would imagine that, you don't have to disclose any details, but I can imagine where you were when you first started 1K Media. From a pricing standpoint, what it would take to book you looks noticeably different than what it takes these days. And so how does that go when you kicking that to the people wanting to work with you?
So yes and no.
Okay.
Right. Yes, because I was just too low starting out, but I didn't know what I had.
Right on.
Then but now I have to keep it, like, it should be higher. To me, it should be higher than what I charge people, because I know what it's worth. But it's like, I also know that I got 10 other people that so I can't fully dedicate what I can do to this video, because I have to keep it to where I can do it for somebody else, and do it for somebody else, and do it for somebody else. And now there are times, like you'll see on the Instagram page or whatever, that some of those mixes, you're like, oh yeah, he definitely took some time on it, or they definitely took some time on that. But it's just all how much time you have, and then how, like, for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but like I gotta get in my creative spirit, in my creative zone. I can, because I've been doing it for a while, like force myself to do it, but it's not the same.
Not the way you want to work.
When I really take my time and do it. But then it's like, you got to take into consideration the life that you still have to live. You still got to go to the grocery store. You still got to go take your son to school, pick him up, go to practice. You know what I'm saying? Just stuff that people don't take into consideration, at least. I'm not even gonna go into the type of messages and stuff that I have as far as it goes as with the turnaround time. But just because, I try to do a good job. I try to be done. Like if I film something on Saturday, I try to have it done by at least that next Saturday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But these people want you to get there Saturday and it be done Saturday night. Like, so that's just, it's almost impossible unless you're filming and using the equipment that they're using at like ESPN and stuff. Like if you're watching a football game, Monday Night Football, before it gets to that first break, they already have a video prepared to post for the commercial break, and it's like, damn, that's a lot. But they have all that stuff, like the actual play can happen. He made a juke and took it 25 up the sideline. They can label it right then and ship it to wherever it needs to go, and then they got people. Like it ain't one. It
ain't a one-man band.
and I'll make sure I'm clear on that. 1K Media ain't no one-man band.
Right on.
You know what I'm saying?
Who's consistent?
Shout out Rocky Renison.
Yeah.
That's my young protege. I coached him as well here at Kellyville in 6th grade. He came in with open ears and the want to be a videographer, a photographer. And I don't even know if that's really what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a part of it, and he thought it was cool, and he seen, once he started, and I think that's with anybody, once you create something for the first time, like he wanted to do it more and more and more.
A calling that you may have just stumbled on. Didn't even know you wanted.
And I do a lot of Shark Tank watching, and a lot of the people that come on there, that's not their first business.
Right.
That's their third or fourth or whatever. And they just, it's just, that's what they do. They create because they got that bite one time and that was it.
Bit by the bud.
And that's all it takes too. And that's what I would say to anybody that was coming out is like, just don't don't be easy. You know what I mean? And that's just with anything, whether it's filming, whether it's playing basketball. Me and my lady play pool.
Yeah.
I started picking that up because I can't play basketball. Like I said, I haven't been able to go full speed. So this is my playing basketball is playing pool.
Right on.
And you gotta practice at it. You can't just walk into the pool tournament and expect to win. Like these people out here take that serious.
Yeah, you
like
can't just come from off the street.
You know what I mean?
Get smoked.
And, we went and bought a pool stick and everything because like I was like, no, I ain't going to no pool tournament with no pool stick. Like, like, these people serious.
You invested in it.
And you have to be.
Yeah.
Or don't do it.
That's true.
Or I'm not gonna say that because like I've always played pool.
Right.
Ever since my Boys and Girls Club Salvation Army days on Harvard, like we would go over there and mess around. But whenever we decided we was like, oh, we're gonna go to a tournament, nah, I'm on Amazon looking up. I never wanted to wear a sleeve, you know what I mean? Because, I still got that even as a member of the pool community now and understanding how accepting it is. I still don't, you know what I'm saying? But, I'm looking at little sleeves, chalk. They got pool chalk for like $30, $40.
Oh, you getting in it. I love that.
Well, these people out here are on that, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same way I see myself with the filming, with the coaching, with playing pool. I'm gonna always try to put myself up here in this top category, or at least what you say, the perception is reality, to make it look like it.
It gotta look, it's the look, baby.
So if I walk in with the $30, $40 chalk, like you might not know what it is because you don't play, but he might be like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's official.
He got that for you. He gonna come over here.
He about to come over here and do something bad
You know
to
what
you.
I'm saying?
You don't see
Right.
it, I see it.
So
He about to break out Lucille. You know what I'm
Lucille.
saying?
Hey, we call it all the time, but but that's it.
I love that, man. Your segues are quite nice over here. You know what I mean? Because I definitely was about to get into what are some of your hobbies, man. How you let yourself off the hook and decompress whenever you're out of work mode, man. And pool seems to be one of them. I know you're an avid football watcher, even when you're not on duty.
Super football,
Right.
Super football watcher. Prize picks, gambler.
He called himself a gambler. I love it.
Whatever. Playing pool. I like just chilling, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big chiller. Movie watcher.
For sure.
TV shows.
Yeah.
Right now, I've been kind of upset because I don't got the first 48. That was like my show. Whenever I first started doing 1K, like I'd stay up all night knocking out videos and
Watch the first 48.
and watching the first 48. But now we got YouTube TV, so But no, man, love watching TV shows. Like I'm even the type of person. I'll go to a musical, or I took a couple years ago. Took my niece to go see Lion King.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Whenever I graduated from Northwestern, my dad has 6 sisters, and even though my dad wasn't in, or no, I said 6 sisters, 3 sisters and 3 brothers.
Oh, okay. 6 siblings. Gotcha.
But whenever I graduated, my aunt flew me down there. I went to NASA, and this, you know what I'm saying? So anything like that, like I'm cool. But if it ain't like that, man, just leave me at the house.
Yeah.
I'll stay at the house.
It takes something worth it moving you up out the crib. That's what it
And I do like going out, you know what I mean, listen to music. We went to the Bricktown Comedy Club or whatever to see Desi Banks.
Yeah, that's a good time.
That's, you know what I'm saying, cool stuff like that. But yeah, Man,
Keep it simple.
and it's not even that I want to be at the house. It's just like right now, I'm behind on something. You know what I'm saying? So it's a never-ending deal. But I love it though, and it don't even feel like work.
Right.
You know,
That's because you love it, bro.
I love it. And, even as an elementary, because I finally moved up from being a para to being an elementary PE teacher over here.
Right on.
And even like having that job and stuff like that, it doesn't even compare to if I'm supposed to be there at 8, I'm there at 8. But like if I have to go film for Prep Hoops at the Hive in Edmond at 6, I'm there at 6, or maybe 6:10, you know what I mean? But it ain't nothing too crazy. I'm still gonna go get it. Like it ain't no problem.
Right.
Basketball is basketball. I'll leave all the herding cats.
Yeah.
We'll leave that to those, and I do appreciate those teachers too, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard job. Like, I don't think people really understand it.
I get it, bro.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of being behind on stuff, I know your time is precious. I got a couple more I want to get at you about. Man, tell me about the 1K Fall League. You just finished the second, I'm gonna call it annual. You know what I mean? Because you got it started a year ago, and I was asked to coach in it, and I had fun with it last year. Y'all brought me back for another one. I had fun with it this year. Man, how did that come about? I'm guessing that was your brainchild.
It was shout out to G Kim, Jason Kim's aunt, and she had just said something along the lines of it. And then I said, how can we make it possible? We just started just throwing stuff out, and it was just a constant back and forth. Mainly, and I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but it was a constant back and forth, and mainly me and her, just figuring out, okay, if this person says this, all right, well, this is the rebuttal, or this is, if this happens, this is what we got to do. So it was a lot of that, and just constant back and forth, constant dialogue, and that's with anything.
Yeah.
I did the Queen of the Court thing too.
I did. I remember that.
It was the same thing with Chevis and Joe Roberts. We put that together, and it ran so smoothly because of the constant communication and the constant saying of, okay, well, if this happens, well, that's one thing I learned while getting my master's, is you have to have a plan, a emergency action plan. You see it on the NFHS thing.
All the time.
You got to have the emergency action plan. Well, you can put that into anything in life, and use it as a guidance to having some success. So that's pretty much how it got started, and then the kids are what finished it. Her and I talking and going back and forth, and then I was communicating with Coach Nagel and Coach Brimmer and my brother and yourself. Like, how do you guys feel about this? Like, would you allow your player to play in something like this? And it was just like,
The biggest thing that convinced me, even though I wasn't a head coach at the time anyway, so I only had so much pull, if you will, of my athletes, was like, all right, as long as this doesn't interfere with practice. And you told me it was going to be the 4 weeks in September, done before the 1st of October, which is official practice. I'm like, book it.
Yep. And that was that was the whole idea. You just give these guys, and like I said, no, I don't want no football coaches upset with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these basketball kids that don't play football still need to be being talked about during the season that they're not, especially in the state of Oklahoma. Football is king.
Right.
So football season, those 10 weeks, like, let me get 4 weeks where I can still put, put some highlights out of you. Man, Jaleel Cotton's done went crazy. Like, and that's what it's all about to me. Is like, it was a Wednesday night in September. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? But everybody that was there, and then everybody that seen it online was like, oh yeah, this dude.
It was going down.
This dude for real.
That's
know?
it.
And that's what it's all about.
Man, your son Kobe. Man, talk about y'all's relationship, man. I love the fact that every time I see you, I see him.
Man, Kobe, man, he's I always wanted a kid. Like, I always wanted a son. I wanted a whole basketball team.
For sure, of course you did.
You know, but I remember like he was. I've been thinking about him before, way before he was here. So like now it's just like I'm living in the moment. We just got back from doing his his first parent-teacher conference. He just started school, and I was curious, going in because that was his first. He's either with me or he's with my mom. Like he don't, you know what I mean? He's a homebody. My mom works from home. I'm working at home. Like he's at the house, but he goes to the gym, you know what I mean? He knows where he's at. Like, he knows he had a good little life, and I shut it all down this year. Just has to go to school at 9 o'clock every day. They get out at 4. So, and then he wasn't really talking about it a whole lot. So it was cool to go in there and see what she had to say about it, and know that I'm doing my part.
Real parental stuff, baby. Love it.
But no, man, he's literally everything I could have ever wanted, whatever. And I had got to a point because I had him whenever I was 29, going on 30. And I thought, I was like, man, I don't think I'm going to have one. And then I was just going to coach everybody else's kids.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But yeah, Cole, man, he's everything I ever asked for.
That's your guy right there, man. That's dope. With all due disrespect, my friend, we're going back. Brother, who did you play at any level, AAU, high school, college? That team beat y'all. That team had no business beating y'all. And if you could run it back today, you're picking that team.
I'm gonna make it real, because there's so many games, and I'm the type, and I'll just say this, I'm the type of guy that you're gonna have your best game against me. Like, if I'm coaching or if I'm playing for whatever reason, you're gonna make your shots against me.
Facts.
You ain't made them all season.
They love to see you coming up.
They gonna have career night every time, and so I'm gonna go back my senior year. We go on the road to Adair. It's win or go home. Playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. It's that last day of the regionals. We had fought all the way through, and I didn't take the team serious. I just knew for sure we were beating them, going to area. I didn't take them serious, and I didn't. All year I have been getting boxing one, different types of things, but they did it a little different, and I wasn't prepared for it, and I wasn't mentally prepared for it, and I ended up having David Day was the coach at Prague. He was the coach at Prague at the time, and we lost to Prague. Kellyville lost to Prague in Adair. David Day sent me home. He sent me with a defense that to this day I don't even remember. And it might not even have been nothing special. It might have just I might have been psyched out of my head or whatever.
Right.
But I think I ended up having like 15 or 17 points, and it wasn't the outcome that I wanted. So I'll definitely say that game right there. If I could have just did one little thing different, I might have got to that state tournament and had my Rodney Clark moment and got that. But, I think everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. And I'm where I'm at now. And I'm happy, so.
Yeah. But, I think that this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think conversations like that, like, hey, man, what if this had happened? Or, man, if y'all played them again, man, we whooped it. Those are some good conversations because they're safe.
Yeah.
Because we ain't going back.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to, we can't.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of those memories that's just like, the one that got away, but it shaped something else.
Oh, yeah.
Now, listen, how does anybody book with J1K?
Man, so you can call me. You can hit the website, 1kmedia918.com. You can direct message me on Instagram. And like I said, it ain't just me. You can call Rocky too. You got to get Rocky on here.
Oh, yeah.
Rocky's story is something crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like he really, like, he's got a different perspective, especially because he's from that younger generation, and he got it out the mud. He didn't get it, the traditional way that you would expect. So he definitely has something good for you. But just hit me up, man. 1kmedia918.com.
Brother, always love. I'm glad we were finally able to line this up, man.
Yes, sir.